Hello and welcome to another video from the Computer Techie, and today what was that noise? Right, so I didn't figure out what the noise was, but anyhow, so we are going to continue with our tutorials on the Netgear switches. The model number is in the top right, and today, based on the title of which you've just read, which is why you've clicked this, is we're going to be looking at setting up the VLANs on this Netgear switch. So this is the home page that you come to, fairly generic now for all of the Netgear switches, unless you have a fully managed one or another one which just doesn't, I don't know. Anyhow, come over to switching and then come over to VLAN. Right, so now we have our VLAN configuration. This is where we can set up our VLANs. So if you want to create a new VLAN, you give it an ID. We're going to do 50 in this case, and we're going to call it something. And then we only have a choice of static, so you can leave that, don't need to worry about that one. And then you just hit add at the bottom here. So add the VLAN 50 to our VLAN configuration. Then we need to come over to advanced, and then this is where we can assign our VLANs to specific ports. So I already have a couple of VLANs already set up on this switch. I'll walk you through what I have done, and this actually also includes trunking the VLANs as well. So first one I have set up here already is called VLAN 10, and this is for the main connections on all of the switches that connect to each other. They're all now on VLAN 10, and you can see here we have a load of U's and some T's. So the T is for tagged and the U's is for untagged. U will treat the port as a normal port, and then tag will mean that it will add like the VLAN ID number to part of the frame in the packet, so it knows where it's going. So you use your tagging on trunked ports, and then you can use the untagged stuff on anything else. So in this case I have two trunked ports, a trunk on port 1 and a trunk on port 3, and the rest are just left as untagged for VLAN 10. And then VLAN 11 we have here, almost the same, although I haven't set up this VLAN for any of the other ports because I don't want to give them access. So we've only got an untagged on port 2 because that is where the connection's coming out from, so that's being treated as a normal port. And then they're trunking to port 3 and to port 1. So we can add a tag to both of them, and we can also add out VLAN stuff to link aggregation things if you set them up. That's where you add them in here. So let's go ahead and go to our new VLAN that we created, which is 50. So we select that at the top there. We can see it's already brought in our name and the type that it was. So to make things easier for you, what you can do is you can just hit this button up here, and it will either tag them all, untag them all, or make them non-VLAN-y, so there won't be any VLANs on any of these at all on VLAN 50, so there's nothing there. So if you want to say tag port number 10, we press it once, it will tag it, press it again, it will go to untagged, press it again, and then there won't be any VLAN on that port at all. So say we wanted to create another trunk port on VLAN 10. So VLAN 50, we're going to have a T there to tag it, and then we could go over, say, to VLAN 2, because we might also want VLAN 2 to go down port 10, so we're also going to tag that as well. So now all we have to do is hit apply, and I think actually you have to hit apply each time you do it. I forgot about that bit. So we've applied number 2. Oh, maybe it applied number 50 as well. Okay, cool. So it applies the whole configuration. Oh no, it doesn't. Yep, so you have to tag it and then click apply. Then say we've got a normal, say an uplink. Port 23 is going to be our uplink. You might want to have that not tags. You might want to have your VLANs set up for only a few ports and then have those connected to, say, your uplink. And that would be untagged because you're not going to have a VLAN, say, on the router. So we just hit that as untagged. So the VLAN still belongs to 50. That port is now belonging to VLAN 50, but it's untagged, so we don't need to worry about it on the other side. We can hit apply. And then that's it. There's another thing here called port PVID configuration. I did Google this earlier. But basically you select a port. So we select G3 and then we can give it the what's it called? 1 second. Okay, so your PVID is for VLANs only, so no, you can't use them on trunk ports. So in this case, actually, my G1 is set up wrong because that is actually a trunk port, whereas for G2 is set up correctly, so that might be why I'm actually having some issues. But yeah, so if you have set, say, we set port 10 up as VLAN 50, didn't we? So we go ahead and select G10. We type in number 50. Oh, that was 60. There we go. We can hit it to do admit all or VLAN only. And then we can filter ingress if we want to. And set priority if we want to. And then we just hit apply. And then that will set the PVID to 10, hopefully, when it's done. Every port has to have a PVID set, and if one isn't set, then it will automatically go to the default, which in this case is actually 1 for this switch. And of course, as I said, you can't have these on trunk ports. So if there's nothing there, it goes to default anyways. How that works, I'm not exactly too sure. The Netgear documentation is not the best in the world when you want to try and find out why it's doing things. But there we go. So that is it for... No, it's not actually. I should probably show you the other thing as well. If you set up trunk ports, you might be interested in finding out how to set up your multiple VLANs in Windows. So come over here, here's my network adapter stuff. So this is my original adapter, and then I've added 2 VLANs down a trunk, so in this case VLAN 10 and VLAN 11. So to add a VLAN or multiple VLANs to your network port, you want to right click it, go into properties, come into configure, come into VLANs, and then you can basically go new, type in the VLAN ID 50. You can give it a different name if you want to, click OK, and then that is it. It is adding the VLAN as we speak, and then once that's done, it will add, say, here it is, local area connection 4. So this is the new VLAN it added, and then all I've done is I've renamed them. They act as normal network connections, like you would do normally. You can set your IP addressing on them or whatever you. So that is how you add multiple VLANs in Windows. So you can trunk them down. So you might have one management port and you might have one internet connection, and you might have one to a private, I don't know, store, or like your boss's secret network, or your friend's porn collection or something. But there we go. So that is how you do that in Windows, and we can see them there as well. So I think that's going to be it for this tutorial. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything in the VLAN section, rather than I haven't touched voice LAN. I don't have anything to try that out with. But yeah, that should be it. So if you've got any questions, then please leave them below. Hope you enjoyed this video. If this helps you out, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and press that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next video.